Welcome to Beyond the Press Release, a production of Gorecom, in which we take the time to speak with small cap executives right after they put out important news. And with us today, we got two executives. We got David Lucatch, CEO of KABN Systems North America, trades on the CSC on the stock symbol KABN, and Alen Silverrstieen, President CEO, ImagineAR, trades on the CSC under IP, and for our friends in the US, IPNFF. Now, for those of you who are new to either both or either of these companies, because we're doing a dual interview here, quite simply, KABN, they solve the major problem around our online identities and data through Liquid Avatar, which you're going to find out about. They provide us with the power, you and me, to manage and monetize our digital identity. And that's an unstoppable trend as both a natural evolution of where the web is going, as well as legislation that's forcing it to happen, thanks to what we found out about Facebook a couple of years ago. ImagineAR, as the name implies, is an augmented reality company. What they do, they enable businesses to create their own mobile phone AR campaigns with little to no programming or technology experience. And for those who don't know what AR is, because it's a little different, it's essentially a technology that lays digital images and graphics over the real world through your phone, okay? AR is also an unstoppable trend. Don't take my word for it. Apple CEO Tim Cook said this: AR will play an important role in how we use technology in the future and promise to be as influential in our society as the smartphone. All right, that's out of Apple's CEO Tim Cook. And the AR market was $3.5 billion in 2017, looking to be 198, let's call it 200 billion by 2025. Massive. Both companies have joined forces. Let's talk about it. Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us here.
Thank you very much, George. Always a pleasure to see you. David, good to see you again today as well.
And Happy New Year to both of you, because it's we're into the second week of January now, and I haven't seen you guys yet. So Happy New Year to both of you.
Thank you very much.
Same to you.
And expecting a great, exciting new year together for all of us. And thank you for having us on today.
So the press release that we're talking about, I'm going to read the title here: KABN North America and ImagineAR bring augmented reality to Liquid Avatars, verified self-sovereign identity users. That's a mouthful, right? The great thing about both of you is both your businesses are incredibly disruptive, and you're on the cusp of these unstoppable trends. There's no doubt about that, which makes you both explosive stories, which is fantastic, but also on the flip side of that, for new people, it makes it hard. You know, there's that learning curve. That's natural, right? And we all had a learning curve when apps came out. So it's the same thing here. So before we go into the specifics of this, maybe David, you can start. If you can run us through a simple example of George having a Liquid Avatar experiencing augmented reality. What does that kind of look like, so that then people can understand when we get into the specifics of the detail of the deal?
Well, thanks, George. Let me try and make it as simple as possible. Liquid Avatar allows you to share what you want, when you want, with whom you want. That's the simplicity of it. We allow people to take their identity, control and manage that online using their biometrics, their facial recognition, and create these Liquid Avatar icons to represent pockets or packets of information. My family information that I want to share, my business information I want to share. You can have a different Liquid Avatar for
health information I want to share.
Yeah, you control it. It's your control. We don't.
And there's George. It's an actual online avatar. I've got an avatar, Absolutely. But it's not just for graphics. It's fully loaded with powerful data that I can. Got it.
Absolutely. And we encourage everybody, obviously, to go to liquidavatar.com to learn more and do your own due diligence in anything that you do. But augmented reality for us adds a whole bunch of value propositions from a user-to-user experience and a commercial experience. So imagine sending someone your Liquid Avatar, and when they open it up, you know, pinwheels explode and fireworks explode, and there's all kinds of opportunities to see, potentially, if it's a business avatar you're sending, see your resume, your LinkedIn, you know, click right through your phone, immediately digitally in an AR environment, see all these things about you from a business standpoint or from a family standpoint, share family photos. There's so many things, family videos. There's so many things that augmented reality can add to the user social experience.
Got
And
it.
together with ImagineAR, we can also add commercial experiences, the ability for people to receive offers. Because remember, we never sell or rent data, but to receive offers from third parties that are interactive and amazing.
So I was just thinking right when you're saying that, if I can use, and let me know if this is a good example, because this can everyone at home who's watching, listen, this can relate. A member on Agoracom, Mary 555, has a liquid avatar, and when she connects with someone on Agoracom to form a social connection, the first thing you might see are the stock symbols in augmented reality of the company she's invested in. For
Absolutely. I
example.
mean, the world is your oyster, and what's
Right.
really cool about it is we're building in the ImagineAR AR augmented reality lens right into the Liquid Avatar app. So there's no third party, it's all going to be integrated.
So let's talk about that. How did you end up choosing ImagineAR over what must have been a number of different potential partners at the end of the day? What was it about ImagineAR that drove you to select them?
Well, I'm going to be candid. For those that dig a bit deeper, we have a relationship, and we've already introduced that relationship to AP with a European AR company that focuses on distributed value. But even working with our partners there, it was a bit clunky, and it's not a negative. It's just everybody has to try and figure out how to connect everything. ImagineAR makes it simple, and the word is elegant to connect. I mean, we have a technology background, but this is simple. We did training with a couple of our people. One was a very well knowledgeable in the space of AR, and one was a neophyte. We put them both into training with AP's program, and both came away almost instantly able to create AR for Liquid Avatar. So it was an absolute no-brainer to partner with ImagineAR, because their technology is world-class and easy to integrate and easy to use, and offers, I mean, amazing bells and whistles that we can then in turn offer our customers and clients.
AP, that's some pretty great validation and words from David there, right? How in this scenario, how do you've got some great clients as well. You've got NFL alum, you've got massive soccer clubs in Spain, you've got Indian singing superstars, right? How does this solution maybe apply to them, if at all? Is this something that you also introduce to them that say, hey, look, you've all got massive followings, you got to start thinking about creating liquid avatars for them? Is that a possibility in this relationship for you to drive business on your side as well?
It's a very good point. And David, thank you for the kind words. I appreciate it. And the good news is, George, I didn't do the training. So he got real training from real people who actually understand the platform. But the great thing is that I actually just got introduced to David, recently through Sheldon Itwash and obviously 3D Capital, who is involved in both companies. And as soon as I got on the phone with David, it was just perfect. I mean, it's rare to speak to a CEO who not only has his own business, but he understood AR as well as anybody. I mean, tremendous knowledge of himself, of the market, how it's to be used. And as you hear his enthusiasm, already had an investment relationship with an AR company. And secondarily, we've been looking at the avatar market for a number of months, and we discussed it as well as David. And it was just a perfect synergistic opportunity where he's got a strong team. They're technically oriented. They got a great background, well-financed. And the key is bringing it out to the consumer market. His approach of KABN is exactly what we need to do with AR to really expand it greatly. And as you brought up, we have relationships with Valencia, 7 million fans around the world, Real Sociedad, Ananya Burla, 350 million views, enormous consumer access, and bringing the avatar and the power that David and his company brings to the table in the background. It's just going to provide a significant opportunity to generate revenue, generate offers, and really expand the utilization of AR in the marketplace and commercialize it to drive significant recurring revenue for both entities. So we're as excited as him. The words, that he brought up are great and appreciated, but they really do, him and his team, get AR, understand it, and to have us involved with them, we feel honored with everything they understood. They selected us to do this global partnership. And I think, we're just at the beginning, what could be significant revenue, because the avatar market is something that we had our eye on. We've looked at it. We've spoken to a number of entities, and certainly, working with Dave and his team, this is exciting first one to really launch in a big way globally together.
I mean, before my next question, I got to tell you, it almost sounds like we're in 2030 right now. It's amazing how fast
we are. You're just a little bit behind where we are.
Yeah, this is our avatar speaking the future, and I don't even realize. But unbelievable, guys, to think that we're all going to be on the cusp with having our online avatars, and those online avatars are going to be interacting, and part of that interaction is going to be using augmented reality.
Right.
That's just a blow away, but that's what I love about Agoracom, the kind of
Or max headroom, if we all go back a little bit.
yeah, that's a basic version. So, David, the good news is that you said earlier the possibilities are endless, but that's also sometimes not the bad news, but the cautionary tale, which is you can't chase everything, right? You can't, what's the famous term? You can't boil the ocean, right? Yeah. So what markets do you go, and I don't know if you guys go after them together, or David, you're going to decide which verticals you want to go to. Maybe AP is going to focus on sports. So let me ask you, which verticals do you want to go after first? Where do you think this has the best early applications?
Well, I think, it's boil the ocean. We think of everything in sort of a premise I learned from a very influential marketer, 20 odd years ago. It's all about crawl, walk, run, right? It's all about getting out of the starting gate. And we want to empower Liquid Avatar users to engage with AR. We have, AP and I have talked about this, and although we were connected by Sheldon, which was great, we realized that we have a very a similar background, and our paths had crossed in the past. But and some great background stories for both of us. You can see you can just see.
Yeah, and I know those backgrounds.
Grogu, he's got
that'll be a fun conversation in the future.
Sitting in the bottom, and all my toys are sitting behind us. But having said that, one of the challenges we see with AR is that, it's been really cool to use it in Snapchat on a one-on-one basis, what I can empower myself for. But it hasn't really been a shareable technology. It isn't something that I went out and shared with others. And social interaction requires us to ignite is to be able to share. And so we're going to start where we think is best by empowering Liquid Avatar users to use AR to share with others, encourage that adoption of AR, because our smartphones have the power to use it, but people have not adopted exceptionally well. It doesn't mean that the market isn't big. It should just be a lot bigger. So from there, we're going to rely on offers and opportunities that come to us, go back to AP and his team and say, this is what we've got, and rely upon the offers and opportunities that he has commercially to integrate those commercial opportunities into our system.
So a bit of a crisscross there.
Right, crisscross. We're starting where we're strong, to empower users, as we do with all our tools and services, to engage in AR and make that an everyday occurrence.
So guys, give me an example, a basic example of the revenue model, because that's what shareholders who are watching this are going to be asking themselves now, which is, what's the revenue model? Okay, so George has a Liquid Avatar, and he's sharing either through e-commerce or health or business or just social interaction. AR he's sharing with. Where does the revenue model, and I know it's early. It's like the great line in Facebook. Yeah, you can't monetize too heavily because you don't know what you have yet. And this is obviously going to morph into something I bet you none of us are going to expect in the next 3 years. But in the short term, AP, maybe how's the revenue model here?
Well, good question. And I think David has a great handle on it. And that's why we've kind of connected as well. And by the way, just to explain, so David is integrating our SDK, the software development kit, into his app. So it'll allow David and his company to build their audience, their consumer, their avatar using our platform from the back end. But what we're looking to do is make special offers through the Liquid Avatar, whether it's commercially available to sports fans and the teams and memorabilia, or it's going to the consumer area with merchandise offers as well. So it's really going to be a B2C play, which George, to date, we have focused more on B2B, right? We've always done deals where we go to the teams, we help them do fan engagement and engage their direct audience. That's why we're excited to work with Dave and his team, because now the opportunity is to work direct on a B2C global scale, participate in the revenue opportunities together, and grow the recurring revenue together for these specific products and merchandise, where we're going to get the big brands, we're going to get commercial opportunities, merchandise that we will work together jointly on. And we already have some ideas of future partnerships and opportunities we can kind of touch on at the end to really help grow both businesses, because the avatar business is here to stay. It's something that we were very seriously looking at. And I think David and his team, well experienced in the world, great background, well financed, and they're going to help work with us to bring it out there.
And if I could add to that, George,
Of course.
AP made a very, very important comment. We're looking at B2C from their end. Our business is C2B. So we focus on the consumer. So it's a natural integration. And we've already got 300 major vendors on board our KABN Cash program. Imagine engaging with some of those to offer opportunities where you could see all the variables and change the variables in a product or service. I mean, there's so many applications that can be done, but again, it is so important because we're building the AR lens directly into Liquid Avatar through the SDK, that we will give users the opportunity to adopt. And once they have adopted a technology, monetizing and creating revenue for that technology is really become second nature.
How much more, and I'm glad you guys brought that up, because on your own, you guys have strong offerings. You both have done some pretty incredible things in 2020 on your own, and you're just really entering your growth curves, right? But how much more attractive does this combined offering make each of you? So David, in 2020, you're pitching GeorgeCom, right? Or Alen, 2020, you're pitching GeorgeCom, why I should be using AR. David, you're pitching me on why I should be using, a Liquid Avatar. But now when you go back to those future prospective customers and you say, not only do we have our core offering, but we also have this to add on as well to offer you. How much stronger does that make you when you're trying to win business with, GeorgeCom in March of 2021, who you haven't spoken yet, but you sit down, do an online demo and you show them this? Does this 1 + 1 = 4?
Well, I can give it to you really quite simply. We did an intro webinar to before going public to our team, and we showed off some AR demos, and they were amazingly well received. I mean, amazingly well received, and it was very rough, and it showed some innovation, but it was really, really on a level of 1 to take probably a 2. The second thing is, for our COVID-19, verifiable identity healthcare credentials, we've announced a consortium, and 2 of them that stands out for me is Trip Experts and the Campus Agency. Trip Experts is in the business of, global travel and empowering tourist boards. They have over 1,000 tourist boards. So you can imagine how AR could complement localization in a tourist market. You walk in front of a restaurant and all of a sudden you can see the menus in 17 different languages. You can, see see what the hours of the day are. It's like instant. Imagine the Campus Agency on over 2,000, universities and colleges in the US, all the applications for information services, for local restaurants and attractions, for opportunities, for offers. I mean, we were there 6 months ago, and again, we started off, slow, but AP and ImagineAR gives us the opportunity to, really put this into rocket gear.
Yeah, now it's a real solid solution. And look, everything, by the way, for everyone at home, if you're not thinking already, all tech has to start slowly. That's why David at the beginning said crawl, walk, run. You can't, I don't care what technology it is, you can't just blast onto people's phones and expect everyone to be using everything. So I like the progression I'm seeing. Alen, in addition to NFL alum Valencia Real Sociedad, you're also the subject of a Microsoft white paper on the use of augmented reality in sports, right? And you're going to be on a panel or making a presentation. How does this factor into when you go back to the likes of Microsoft, who's your partner, and others, when you talk about, guys, let me show you what we also now, what also is capable, what also is possible?
the vision becomes real. And thanks for mentioning that. I appreciate it. So in the white paper, actually, it's out of Singapore, out of a group called Global Sports Innovation Centers, purely powered by Microsoft out of Madrid. And they select certain companies that have disruptive technology in specific areas, focus in the world of sports. And the white paper is done on fan engagement, and we are the first case study they included. So it's a great honor to be included. They're going to have a global panel out of Singapore. We're going to, be on it. So it's an opportunity to bring us, but it gives validation to the model that AR, because of pandemic, because the way the market's going, it is here to stay and it's going to be part of everyday life. And having KABN Cash and David and his team, who obviously have a tremendous understanding of AR, just listening to him, I sit here and I smile because I say, not only does David get it, but he has the team to deliver it. He has the network, the colleges to travel. It is a natural progression to bring this out, and the numbers will just add up and scale out significantly. So it's exciting, again, to have the validation in sports and to bring David and KABN into the sports world, into the fan engagement world with the millions and millions of fans around the world who are still under lockdown, not going to real games, and looking to engage and support their team, to buy merchandise and have offer opportunities of sponsorship available to them. It's just a synergistic relationship for success, recurring revenue. And I don't think you're looking at the growth as 2-3 years. I agree with David, walk and first to get started, but I think 2021, from what we're seeing in the market, just in the interest of AR and avatars, I think it's going to move a little bit quicker than all of us originally anticipated, just by seeing the market opportunity now. And this announcement we did today is exciting, but it's the first piece to really take the avatar AR world, marry them, and bring them into the commercial marketplace. And I think being the first mover in this case is going to give us a great leadership opportunity in the world of brands and some of the relationships both companies bring to the table today.
So guys, what are next steps from here? Because clearly this is a powerful combination, still almost a blow away to wrap your mind around. But the fact of the matter is this is coming. Avatars are coming. Augmented reality is coming. I mean, they're here, but they're really going to blast through our lives. Put them together and man, the possibilities are endless. What are next steps from here? How do you guys move forward? What are your targets? What are your goals? What's the plan?
I wanted to add one thing, if I could, George, before we just answer that question, going back to AP's earlier comment. I spent some time, working in the sports industry, and I've been, fortunate enough to have produced some television programming for some of the sports teams. One of the things that AR also offers is a second screen event opportunity. So you're watching golf on television and a QR code shows up. You can scan that QR code on your tablet or your mobile phone and have a second screen event. So there are so many flipping opportunities.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy.
Right. So,
it's going to be crazy.
Years ago in 2000, I started working with, telemetry in F1 and Indy racing for second screen events. And the technology was well ahead of its time. So I think second screen events are a huge opportunity for AR. You're watching a college football game, and all of a sudden, you can look at the stats that are going on in real time and what's happening, because the NFL pushes, AWS and Microsoft all through the stuff. And Alen, congratulations on that white paper. I know how hard it is to get something through the Microsoft network, and that is absolute kudos to you and the ImagineAR team. I mean, it's unbelievable, but there's so much more. I'll let AP talk about next steps, because there's so much that we're noodling on today.
So, and then thank you again, David, for the words. So George, when you look at the future, it's something I kind of touched on. I think we talked previously, some of the things we're looking at. Certainly David brought up an area I didn't even bring up, which is second screen immersion has been a big focus as well for us. Besides avatars, we've brought it up. It's something in the world of music, entertainment, sports, as well as speaking engagements, conferences. And I think you'll see things unfold in 2021 with ImagineAR and KABN together in that area. Also, another pet project we've taken a very serious look at, and David he's already in there already, and it was just a natural, is everyone's looking at crypto as the next big thing as we look at Bitcoin just going off the charts, is the world of NFTs, the non-fungible tokens, the ability to basically have a unique digital collectible as an NFT tied to specific events, entertainers, sports, whatever. And that's something that David even brought up right away and saying, you know what, the NFT world, and that's something we were very serious about. Just today, even looking at online on Twitter, there's something called NBA Top Shots where you get a LeBron James. It's called Cosmic Series 1, where it's just a video clip of him dunking. That's it. And you can own, there's 49 of them that came out in NBA. It just hit $26,000 for a video clip, a one-of-one. So we've discussed this.
Unbelievable, right?
For a highlight, for buying a highlight and owning that video. So, and Dead Mouse.
It's a limited series. That's it. Nobody else has that version.
And it's 49, all tied to crypto. So with people looking at Bitcoin and the, you know, the frothiness and the excitement, right, you know, of Bitcoin and companies buying Bitcoin, well, why don't you go into the NFT market, which Dave and I have discussed at length, and create your own AR NFT objects that are digital collectible number and become, for lack of a better word, the bank, the provider of the NFTs. And I think that's something you're going to see from these companies in 2021.
Well, then let's make.
Sorry, if I could add to that for a sec, George. I mean, Liquid Avatar Marketplace is sort of the precursor to that. So you're going to be able to buy liquid avatars that are tied to a blockchain. Now we call it a DCA. That's an internal blockchain. However, that you could buy an NFT, get a DCA'd liquid avatar, and have an entire AR experience around that. Exactly. It becomes mind blowing. And we're Liquid Avatar and KABN North America are not in the crypto space, but this is a partnership that we're looking at with AP ImagineAR and probably some other well-known partners to see what we can do, because it could be a massive, massive revenue opportunity for our companies with the right partners.
Well, can we take my intro to this video that I did at the very beginning and make that an NFT, only have 49 of those available that people can buy and say they have that.
Of the three faces, that's it.
And I want,
I don't think mine will sell very well, but you guys,
we can get up to 26 grand per, we're looking good.
Exactly.
I don't know.
Guys, look, amazing. Thanks so much. We could talk for an hour, right? Because this is the future. For everybody at home, we know a lot of these concepts are not the easiest things to understand sometime, but I also know that you've got a really good idea of the concept and where this is going, right? And this is just the way the world is going. Think about the web was like in 2000, 2005, 2010, and every time an innovation came along, we said, wow, I can't believe that's where we're going. Well, this decade, this is where we're going. Avatars, augmented reality, put them together, blown, right? So thanks for joining us, guys, on our first ever version of Beyond the Mishpucha. But thanks for being here so much and for sharing what you guys done, and congratulations on your partnership, because man, I can't wait to see what this is going to do in the next couple of years.
Thank you so much, George.
Thank you very much. Thank you, George. Thank you, Dave. And certainly thank you to Sheldon for putting us together.
Exactly.
We're excited to be partners all together and look forward to truly an amazing year of AR, KABN Cash, NFTs, AR. We're all in, and Liquid Avatar will be the basis.
And if we're going to keep giving out those shout outs, then I want to also give a shout out and a happy new year to Mama Silverrstieen as well.
Well, after you said the mishpucha, you got her. She's done. So I'm sure she'll enjoy that part. Thank you very much.
Everyone at home, you've been watching or you've been listening by podcast to David Lucatch, CEO of KABN North America, trades on the CSE under KABN. Alen Paul Silverrstieen, President CEO, ImagineAR, trades on the CSE under IP. And for our friends in the US under IPNFF. You've heard what we've had to say. You've watched what they had to say. Now you've got to go do your due diligence. Start that due diligence on Agoracom. Get to each of their hubs. Get to their profile pages, where we, in layman's terms, try and really lay this out so you guys understand and kick off your due diligence, because I don't want you to tell us a year from now that we didn't tell you so. Have a fantastic day. Thanks for joining us. See you next time.